We're so glad that mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, graduates, that everyone is here to be with us on today. This particular department, we are special and unique in our own right. We prepare our students not only in advertising, but we prepare students in public relations, mock trial, speech, and debate. We are leading our students and we are creating leaders in those particular areas and communities so that when they go out here, everyone will know they came from the Mecca and they did not come to play, and they came to be change global agents. So with that, welcome, enjoy yourself, enjoy your graduates, because we understand that the hard work wasn't alone. We understand that you are the village that helped them get here today. So one, with that, thank you. Two, welcome again. That's my welcome. I have the distinct honor of introducing our MC, our Mistress of Ceremony. She is a legal communications graduate. Her name is Kelsey Johnson. And before I talk a bit about Kelsey, Kelsey is a 4.0 student. I'll wait. In her freshman year, Kelsey made it on to the Howard University mock trial team, the award-winning Howard University mock trial team. She led the team in endless competitions. Not only that, she was our opening attorney. That's the first face, the first voice, and the first grade or mark for the competition. Kelsey led us with great voice inflection, pride, and dynamic argumentation. So I could talk longer, but I better sit down and let us get started. So never late, it is Kelsey Johnson.
Thank you for that warm introduction, Attorney Minor. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm so excited to be emceeing for you all today as we recognize some excellent graduates in the Department of Strategic, Legal, and Management Communications. Our program today consists of 3 parts. We'll start with a welcome from our Dean and Chair, then move into our presentation of awards. Then we'll finish up with remarks from me and come together as a SLMC family for some picture time. A quick reminder to please silence your phones. We're gonna have a lot of fun today. So sit back, relax, and we're gonna get started with an introduction and remarks from our chair, or our dean. Dr. Gracie Lawson Borders is the Dean and Professor of the Kathy Hughes School of Communications. She's the incoming president of the Association of Schools of Journalism and Mass Communications and member of the Board of Directors for the Association for Education in Journalism and Mass Communication. She held offices in community and national organizations such as Habitat for Humanity. She received her PhD from Wayne State University, her master's from Northwestern University, and her bachelor's from Michigan State University. Dr. Lawson Borders is currently writing a book on digital business models and strategies for media organizations in the digital environment. Please give a warm welcome for our Dean.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. As Kelsey shared, I am Gracie Lawson Borders, the Dean of the Kathy Hughes School of Communications, and it is my honor this afternoon to welcome you to the awards and recognition ceremony of the Strategic, Legal, and Management Communication Department. I'd like to start by asking all of the graduates to stand so that we can salute you and congratulate you for what you have accomplished. Left, right, and all around you, and congratulate your parents, your friends, your family, your faculty, for being a part of this journey for you. So can we give them a round of congratulations? None of us do this alone. We all need someone to be there and help support us. So this is a special time because for the past 2 years, you're going to hear this a lot today and even tomorrow when you get to the commencement, that they were really unprecedented. There's so much that we all had to traverse through these past 2 years when we were not on campus and a little bit of everything else when we did try to come back to campus. But what I want you to know is you persevered. You stood and you hung in there, and whether it was one too many Zooms or one too many Teams meeting, you knew that you had a goal and you made sure that you accomplished it. I always try to tell students when I meet them their first year is make a commitment to yourself that if you start this journey, you intend to finish it. So we are proud of you that that is what you're doing. That's what this is. But I also want you to remember that you've just begun. It is not the destination, it's the journey. You have so much that we're expected to see you do and accomplish and also make a difference as you're out there. So this is your moment. It is your moment to enjoy. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to fellowship with your family and with your faculty. I want you to hold these days at how near and dear to you because you will be remembering them. It's a part of your journey of growing into the person you will be and continue to be as you move on down the road. So I am not going to hold any longer. I am going to turn it back over to the MC. But welcome, we're proud of you, and go Bisons.
Thank you, Dean Lawson Borders. Next, we're going to hear from our chair, Dr. Lamia. Dr. Lamia is a Fulbright Scholar, Professor, and Chair in the Department of Strategic, Legal, and Management Communication. A 2006 graduate from Howard's Communication and Media Studies program, Dr. Lamia has extensive knowledge and expertise in information communication technology, intercultural, cross-cultural, and international communication, Black diaspora communication theory, decolonial media studies, social media, and Afrocentricity. Okay, welcome Dr. Lamia.
Wow, that's you? You know. No, I'm telling you what, that's you? You know. All right, the dean said the students who are graduating should rise. Now let me flip the coins. With the parents and a significant order, will you rise so that you can receive a round of applause for supporting these graduating seniors? Please rise and receive an applause. Without your support, we do not have the students with us. Thank you so much, and you may have your seat. Next, let me now introduce the illustrious faculty members in the Department of Strategic, Legal, and Management Communication. You really have to see those that have been able to prepare your students to be what they are today. So let me just start from my left, and then I'll go to the right. So I could see Dr. Jean-Claude Quitonda. Please rise. Dr. Jean-Claude Quitonda. He's a generalist, meaning that he can be very, very comfortable in teaching courses in legal communication, management communication, and strategic communication. Next, we have Dr. Jay Win-Chun. Please give us a round of applause. Dr. Jay Win-Chun, of course, an associate professor with us, and she is an expert in management communication. And I'll be saying something briefly about that. Next, we have Dr. Samantha Powers. Even though I cannot see the smile behind your mask, I know you're smiling, Dr. Samantha Powers. In fact, we always borrow the smile from her. She smiles every day. Dr. Samantha Powers is also a journalist who is, as I said, comfortable in management communication. I know she loves organizational communication and also in legal communication. She has a JD, you know. All right, followed now by Professor Nicole Dillard. Please give her a round of applause. She's an attorney. These are some of the experts in legal communication. So if you have a daughter or a son who is going to be a lawyer tomorrow because he or she graduated in legal communication, these are the brain behind the preparation of that your daughter or son. Next, we have Dr. Chuka Onwumechi. Please give a round of applause. Dr. Chuka is a full professor. He used to be the interim dean of the Kathy Hughes School of Communication and then the chair of the department before I took over. His specialty mostly is in sports communication. Published extensively and have books that are being used in the global world in sports communication. In fact, with the World Cup on FIFA, you must always see him on one of the media talking about football in the world, and he loves it so much. Give another round of applause for the person. Next, we have Dr. Carruth Rogers. Give me a round. Dr. Carruth Rogers is in strategic communication. I think got his PhD from Penn State University. No, Howard University. And then a postdoc at Penn State University. You know what I'm doing? I'm just trying to recall. They have extensive bio with faculty members. What I would like you to do is Google them. Just Google these faculty members. And now moving on the right, I could see, of course, Angela Minor, the one that welcomed you in this room, who is our legal communication coordinator. Please give her a round of applause. And of course, we have my assistant chair, the person without whom I would not be able to function well. In fact, she's the brain behind most of these preparations for me to make the students who they are. Please give a round of applause to Dr. Emily Kramer. Dr. Emily Kramer is an expert in strategic communication. And of course, you really have to Google her to know what I'm talking about. Am I missing anybody? Yes. Oh, yeah, Professor Sherry Johnson, please rise. Coordinator of strategic communication, which involves advertising and public relations. Now, briefly, let me now address myself to the graduating seniors. Remember, listen well. If we are told, more often than not, that to whom much is given, much is expected. Yours is not that much is expected, so much is expected from you. And let me explain. You know what? You have walked on the footprints of those who founded this institution in 1867. They sacrificed for you. So you owe us a debt. You know why you owe us a debt? Because I think Wittgenstein says that don't climb the ladder. Get on the roof and throw down the ladder and prevent others from coming to meet you on the roof. That is why you owe us a debt. You graduating senior in advertising, in public relations. Remember that there are companies like Ogilvy, for instance, McCann, Dreamweaver, IBM, in New York, etc., looking for a digital communication expert who will dissect, or better still, retool their digital communication platforms, especially during the era of virtual and in-person communication. That person is you they are looking for. So don't disappoint us. You who is a graduating senior in management communication, listen and listen well. In the era of multicultural companies, where people from all parts of the world are working in different companies, speaking different languages, they are looking for somebody to unravel the conundrum between virtual in-person communication, most especially intercultural communication, cross-cultural communication, crisis communication, verbal and non-verbal communication. In the age of what? DEI. You know what I mean by DEI? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. You will fill that gap for us. Last but certainly not the least, you with a graduating senior in legal communication. Oh, you owe us a huge debt. You know why? Not only you are our next Ketanji Brown Jackson of the Supreme Court, or Kamala Harris, who use their intellect. In the words of my brother Paul Coates, the father of Tani, he quotes, they use words like bullets to kill ignorance about the black race and about the women. So you owe us a huge debt, because not only you are going to re-educate us about women's reproductive rights, you are going to restore Roe versus Wade as the law of the land. I wish you Godspeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Langmia. Next, we'll move into the presentation of SLMC Awards. Beginning our presentation of Exemplar Awards for the Strategic Communication Sequence, please let me introduce you to Professors Johnson, Kramer, and Carruth. I'll share a little bit about Professor Johnson. Professor Johnson is an associate professor and directs the Strategic Communication Sequence in SLMC. In New York, she worked for Ogilvy and Mather and performed special projects for ABC Network Sales and CBS Network Marketing departments. She enjoyed a successful 14-year career at the Washington Post, ultimately managing the highest grossing advertising revenue in the company's history at $160 million. Welcome, Professor Johnson, and please introduce your colleagues.
Okay. Doing double duty between the computer and up on the stage. Thank you for coming today. I was just looking at, again, the definition of exemplar. And as Strategic kicks off the Exemplar Awards, when we think of an exemplar, we think of someone who's an example, right? Who's a role model. And all of you who are graduating are exemplars in your own right. So we're going to recognize some of them in our different sequences today, and that we are looking for you to be trailblazers, to be trendsetters, to, as Dr. Langmia said, reach back, right, and pull someone else up with you, pay it forward, especially in our industry in advertising and public relations, and we represent strategic communications. Believe it or not, they're less than 3% who are on the high, mid to senior level in positions in advertising and public relations. And you know the average probably 30-second spot television ad in the Super Bowl was a whopping $6 million. So lots of money is being invested in advertising and also public relations influencing, but they don't look like us behind the scenes. So we need our leaders to be in positions where they can go forward and represent us well, right? And represent our voices in advertising and public relations. So I just wanted to say that just to set the stage, because it's really important what they're doing and the majors that they've majored in, because they're going to be our next change agents and leaders in the industry. So first I would like to call up my colleague, Emily Kramer, who's our assistant chair. She's been introduced by Dr. Langmia. One thing I can say about our professors that are in strategic communications in all of our disciplines actually, and you'll see this in the School of Business also, that we were actually in the industry. They mentioned that I was in Ogilvy, but that all of us have had experiences outside. So we just didn't read it in a book what we learned. We were actually in the industry doing that type of work, and still we partner with different companies so we can bring that real world experience to the classroom. So when we stop, I guess, working in the industry full time, we still call our contacts, our colleagues, the Googles, the Fox Sports, who else? A lot of folks, right? Back to actually bring real world examples to students. So next up is our assistant chair, Emily Kramer, to introduce our PR exemplar.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, so I stand before, I have to write my remarks because I'm not as great of a public speaker as some of my esteemed colleagues, so forgive me. But I stand before you feeling so honored and privileged to introduce SLMC's Award for PR Exemplar. These days, I find I speak more about this exemplar than to this exemplar. I spoke about her earlier this year when I nominated, and she received an honorable mention as PR News' HBCU Student of the Year. Her high academic marks, extracurricular involvement, commitment to service, and enthusiastic personality led her to receive this honor. I spoke about her a few months ago when talking with finalists for a new PR tenure track professor position. I had asked this exemplar to be an active member of our search committee. Why? Because her insights and feedback on behalf of PR majors is crucial to finding a person who can motivate and support our savvy stratcommers. I spoke about her 2 days ago when providing a reference for her with Politico. I learned that this exemplar is in the running for not one, but 2 positions. The recruitment manager said, and I quote, "We cannot let her pass us by." And I speak to you today about this exemplar, a competent, professional young woman who heads up the D. Park Gibson chapter of the Public Relations Student Society of America. As president, she has led the charge in our chapter becoming the largest HBCU chapter in the nation. I'll say that one more time. The largest HBCU PRSSA chapter in the nation. It is through her leadership that PRSSA has hosted professional development events such as the Professional Point of View, Perfecting the Page, Let's Get Social, Design, and a joint event with Howard's Student Association for Broadcast Journalists. And her leadership has paved the way for increased visibility and recognition of PRSSA and preparing Stratcom majors for a career in the industry. Her leadership has also paved a path for another milestone I hope to achieve in the next 5 years, the largest PRSSA chapter, period, in the nation. This year's PR exemplar is none other than the incomparable Ruby Avery.
We're among family. Let's give Ruby another hand. So that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of model and exemplar that we have. She already has so many opportunities for jobs when she leaves. Now I want to call up one of my colleagues that Dr. Lamia introduced, which is Dr. Roger Carruth. Come on up. You're going to go up on the stage, I guess, and take this. And I'll speak loudly. He's going to introduce our advertising exemplar. Strategic communications is part advertising, part public relations. And one thing I have to say about Dr. Carruth, you've heard what Dr. Lakey said about all of us, but he, like Dr. Kramer, they're mentors to students. You know, they'll take calls on weekends. You know, we're helping students get jobs, which is important, getting connected. He and I both taught internship class, and one thing really good about that is to find out a lot about opportunities and connecting them with their next starting in the industry, right? So Dr. Carruth now is going to talk about our advertising exemplar, so let's get him in here.
Thank you very much. Can you guys hear me? How's everybody doing? Great. So this young lady comes to us with a very strong academic record. I had her in her first year at Howard. She came to us from Crenshaw Community College with a 4.0. She carried a 4.0 all through Howard. We all did. We struggled through COVID, but she would come to class on time, camera on. She had 2 cameras set up, so she would do switching between angles, and I thought that was pretty great. She often would come early enough for us to have conversations about just what she was looking to do post college and some things she wanted to do while at school at Howard. So I had her in the fundamentals of advertising class, advertising, copyright, and design, and also Stratcom, strategic communications. Capcom. So during that time, Alexis had an opportunity to work at Sparks Sports University. She worked with me and some some of the ad agencies that Professor Johnson talked about, in particular Good Beats, Silverstein and Partners, and they produced one of the best-selling and most notable Super Bowl ads, which was a Super Bowl ad with Lil Nas X and Big Ray Cyrus for Cool Ranch Doritos. And she had an opportunity to be one of the students to create a podcasting campaign for that program, and it was received very well by the ad agency. Beyond that, she was a student in the Knight Foundation internship program, where we received a $250,000 grant to study black vote, black manipulation during the 2016 election campaign, and Alexis served with us as an intern and did a great job there. Beyond that, Alexis is very active on campus communities and organizations, and I'll just name a few. PRSAA, Lambda Phi Theta Honor Society, Phi Theta Kappa International Honor Society, Golden Fleet International Honor Society, and a few others. The thing that stands out to me the most as I talk to Alexis quite often is her passion for giving back, empowerment. She's always had an interest in working for nonprofit organizations, particularly serving communities of color. One of her areas of interest is food disparities, which I find very unique in this era of students who are looking for a lot of glitz and glamour. She wants to do the hard work and work with people who need help the most, and I find that very commendable. Furthermore, she's very mild-mannered, never come to class with any issues that would disrupt or cause us not to move forward. She's team-oriented, and I think that's key. Most of our students push back against teamwork. Being in the ad agency and the ad industry, you never work by yourself. Whether you're in production, whether you're in creative, strategic, media buying and sales, you are never alone. You have to work for a client, and throughout the 3 classes that she was in with me, she's never had an issue. She took on roles as a group leader, a team leader, and been very effective in communicating issues within the groups, or issues with assignments or projects that may come up. She's extremely focused, and I've been teaching since 1999, and there are a lot of students that generally stand out in your mind. And as was mentioned earlier, I think you can look at Alexis and probably see 5 years from now, she will be one of the exemplars that represents the university and the school. And I can see her, once graduated, becoming an HU alum that we are trying to do, which is to become change agents. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Alexis.
Okay, congratulations again to Ruby and Alexis. Next, we will be moving on to our media management sequence. Please let me introduce you to Dr. Chung. Dr. Chung is an associate professor in SLMC and the sequence coordinator for the management communication sequence. Her research areas are new media technologies, there's psychosocial impacts, health communication, and her work has been published in the Journal of Communication, Communication Research, Journal of Computer-Mediated Communication, Journal of Health Communication, and Computers and Human Behavior. Bear with me today. Please welcome Dr. Chung.
want to congratulate everyone who's graduating today. I want to say this is a great milestone, but I also want you to remember, as you heard from the dean and the chair, that you are here because you had a support and love from your loved ones. I have two of my own children, two boys, and I realized it really takes a village to raise a kid. So I really want you to take this moment to say I love you. You know, I really appreciate what you have done for me because it really takes a village to raise a child. I also want to say that this is quite unique. I've been doing this job for I think over 10 years, and this is very unique because we had to do a virtual learning for the past 2 years, and I know that it's not easy. Virtual learning is not for everyone because there are so many things that are missing. We don't really get to see our friends, we don't get to see our colleagues, but you survive and you learn important life skills, which is getting to knowing how to work with others in a virtual setting. So really congratulations on you two to finishing strong. I also want to thank the parents and the families to have a faith in us because you trusted us and you sent your child to us, and I really want to say that I appreciated the opportunity to work with your children because sometimes my own children ask me, why do you teach? You know, why do you teach? Why do you work in a college? And I told my children that because I love to learn every day. I really learn from my students, and I want to say that I learned it from each of you sitting there in this. I also want you to remember that graduation, another term to say the graduation is the commencement. And commencement, as you may know, that it's a term saying the commencer, which in French of beginning. So I really want you to begin a new chapter. And best wishes for everything you are doing after this graduation. And I would love to hear from you, even after the graduation, how you're doing when you begin a new family, or when you have a child, or you begin a new job. I would really love to hear from you whenever you do a great thing, but also whenever you have to talk to us when there's something happening in life. Although we are not giving this award to everyone, I want to say that we really think everyone has done a great job in finishing this great chapter. Something that I want to say, the student that I want to give this award to, our sequence, the faculty in our sequence, we selected together. So we have a Dr. Chuka, we have a Dr. John Claude, also we have Samantha. For this particular student, we said that she's great because of her work ethic. She is also great. She's always on time for coming to class, submitting her work. She's also always ready to share her ideas because I had an opportunity to observe her in my own class of a capstone. In my capstone class, I asked students to submit, do a mini thesis, and her mini thesis was about the black missing people cases. And I want to share a few sentences she wrote. She wrote, black people who go missing have been found to be disproportionately underrepresented in the news and then in the media in comparison to their white counterparts. And there are a few more sentences, but I'll skip those parts and we'll go into the conclusion. My study found that the negative effects of the media not covering black people missing cases are apparent. My study also found that social media has allowed for more attention to be given to stories that would have been otherwise been ignored by traditional news and media outlets, such as black missing person cases. I thought this, although students were only given one semester, I thought this is a work that is beautifully done, and I want to ask you to come to the podium and then take the award that we are giving to you. Anissa?
God.
Thank you, Dr. Chung, and congratulations, Anissa. Next, we're moving on to our exemplar awards in the legal communication sequence. Please let me introduce you to Professor Miner. Professor Miner is an associate professor in SLMC and the legal communication sequence coordinator. Additionally, she directs the Martin Luther King Jr. Forensics Program, consisting of 2 award-winning teams, the Howard University mock trial team, whoop whoop, and the speech and debate team. When Professor Miner is not teaching, she is practicing law in the state of Maryland and the District of Columbia as the co-founder of the law offices of Miner and Wilcox. Welcome, Professor Miner.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. All right, greetings again. I have to bring my colleague up, Professor Nicole Dillard. My co-laborer, my friend, as well as my soror. So we are here to honor legal communications. Legal communications is a multifaceted discipline. We have 2 young ladies that we deem are worthy of this exemplar award. I'm going to first begin with Ms. Harris. She is graduating, of course, with her Bachelor's of Arts in Legal Communications, along with a double minor in political science and criminology. Throughout her years at Howard University, Haley has competed, on the award-winning Howard University mock trial team. She served as a member of the National Council of Negro Women. In past semesters, Haley has had the opportunity to work with and under Commissioner Rodney Ellis of Harris County Precinct 1 as a policy intern, as well as a research intern at Howard University's Knight Foundation. Haley has a passion for the law and politics and hopes to someday make meaningful impacts in the lives of others by becoming a lawyer. Haley Harris. As Haley walks up, I have to talk about the pandemic. It shifted us. It changed us. And when we talk about the Howard University mock trial team that Haley knows all too well, we are a team that competes on a national circuit. It's the foremost circuit of collegiate mock trial. Over 700 colleges and universities compete on this circuit. The premier HBCU that is winning in the top 10 is Howard University. Young lady served as an expert witness. The interesting thing about that is when we went into pandemic mode and had to do everything online, she was the first witness to actually have a digital moving exhibit. Her attorney and Haley came up with a digital moving exhibit in the background. She sounded as if she was doing this more than the years she's been on this earth. She sold the jury, she sold the judges on being an expert witness. She also had to understand the art of direct and cross-examination, to be directed and to also be crossed for over an hour by competing teams. And then doing this in 4 different rounds across some days, 2 days, and 3 days. So when it comes to extracurricular activities, baby, the School of Communications, this department right here, we do extracurricular activities in the form and in the spirit of excellency. I'm gonna pass it over to Attorney Dillard if she wants to add a little bit more.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure, certainly, to be here amongst all of this excellence, especially all of these exemplars, which makes my heart warm when I've actually seen a few of them in my classes that aren't necessarily legal communications, like Ms. Avery, who is just in my conflict management. And I tell all my students, listen, the law is news you can use. Whether you go to law school or not, you need to know a little bit of it. So it does my heart warm to see all of these exemplars today honored.
But specifically to Ms. Haley and to the one that's going to come behind her, these are sort of these special ones that are near and dear to our heart. I think what the pandemic did was allowed us to really, speak with them a little bit offline, or online but offline. They would reach out to me, talk to me. We talk about the impact of the pandemic on our lives, how we were all literally in this together. My students would see me say, wait a minute, 1 second, the dog is pooping on the floor, pause, something is going on. So I think the students really got to see a human side of all of us, whether it be interrupted by our kids. As they were downstairs in the pandemic, and I know some of my colleagues have little ones, so I'm sure somebody in the background was running around naked. Something was going on. And I appreciate all of the resilience that our students have shown. But especially Ms. Haley here, was wonderful. She had several of my classes. She simply added to conversations. She moved the conversations forward. She asked great questions. So it does my heart wonderful to see her today recognized.
Especially being graduated with honors and still being my child. Congratulations, Hilda. Our next graduate is amazing also in her own right. Interesting enough, when they come and they matriculate through our department, we are pushing them out there to be leaders within the Howard University community at large. Alana Thomas may be a senior who's graduated for legal communications, but she served as the vice president of HUSA in her last year, and we're extremely proud of that accomplishment. She's an English minor. Alana was born in Boynton Beach, Florida. She's the youngest of 3 siblings, the daughter of Katina and Demetrios Thomas. During her time at Howard, Alana has served in multiple leadership positions within student government, including the Student Advocacy Director of the Kathy Hughes Student School of Communications Student Council, Student Advocacy Chairwoman, and Senator of Howard University Student Association Senate. Currently serves as the Executive Vice President of the Howard University Student Association at large. Her notable accomplishments include being 4-time Thurgood Marshall Scholar, a recipient of the Kamala Harris Public Servant Award by the Howard University Student Association Senate, and has been on the Dean's List every semester since her freshman year. Alana has extensive experience in legal and political fields, beginning with her repeat internship at the Palm Beach County State Attorney's Office and the Special Victims and Domestic Violence Unit. Boom, boom, okay, sorry. I'm a geek about mine. More recently, she was a political intern for the Collective PAC. In this role, she assisted the organization of fulfilling its mission of building Black political power by assisting candidates and their campaigns. Currently, Alana is a legislative intern for the Office of Congressional Al Lawson Jr. Welcome, Alana Thomas. I don't know how she had time to graduate with honors, but she is doing all of it. Alana also made it onto the award-winning Howard University mock trial team as a lead attorney. These students, just to brag a little bit more, guys, their extracurricular activity involves reading over 200 pages of content. That's first semester. Second semester is 100 pages of content. That includes case law, statutes, affidavits, exhibits, pictures, on and on and on. And they take the time to study this art. And they do 4 3-hour rounds against Harvard, Yale, Drexel, come on, Columbia, against all these PWIs, UCLA. But when you walk in the room and they see the beautiful melanin of Howard University, they know who we are. To become top 10 in the nation, it was because of students that were committed to excellence. like Alana Thomas. We salute you.
Thank you, Attorney Minor and Attorney Dillard, and congratulations to Alana and Haley once again. I get the pleasure of speaking with you all now myself. To Dean Lawson Borders, Chairman Lamia, School of Communications faculty, my fellow graduates, our parents and family, our esteemed guests, good afternoon. I'm honored to be speaking here today at the culmination of our Howard careers. The other day, a friend asked me, what was Howard like? The question oddly caught me off guard. It's hard to articulate what Howard has been. Great falls short of Howard's excellence. Fun cannot describe all the good times. Challenging doesn't encapsulate the hard assignments. Even the fanciest adjective cannot describe my time at the Mecca, and that's because words cannot describe Howard. Howard is a lived experience only bison who have forged the path fully understand. As students in the School of Communications, we have been united for the last 4 years on a mission to get to this moment. We studied in Founders, gotten lost as freshmen trying to find Screening Room West, went to iLab to finish a paper, but ended up chatting with friends all night. Howard has been a collection of experiences that helped us grow up and develop to become future leaders. When we started at Howard, I think it's fair to say no one anticipated a global pandemic. We abruptly left campus for what we thought would be a short stint. As the weeks turned into months, I know I'm not the only one who was itching to get out. And for some parents, itching for us to go. It cannot be understated, though, how disruptive going home was. As students, we had to pick up our lives and go home in a pivotal time when we were growing as young adults. As the world fell in disarray, we still had papers due. It could have been easy for us to disconnect from each other. However, the pandemic showed how strong we are as a school and university. We checked in on each other, we gathered when appropriate, and at times not appropriate. We never lost our community. At last, we returned to campus and came to the Met buildings, carrying on the spirit of SOC that is not represented by a physical building, but we, the students and our faculty, are SOC. The Howard experience is defined by its people, and the bloodline of SOC is our faculty. They work tirelessly to educate us, prepare us for future careers, and provide opportunities that you can only get at Howard. Personally, my first year was not short of its challenges. I was far from home in Arizona, in a city where I knew no one. Shortly into freshman year, I was going to leave Howard and go home. Though she may not have known it, Attorney Minor was my hero. I stayed at Howard and am here now because of her. She, like many professors, poured into me and loved me. Attorney Minor was the mentor I never knew I needed. She showed me I belonged at Howard and was a figure of a Black female attorney I wanted to be myself. This is not an unusual experience for Howard students. Professors and classmates quickly become family and ensure no bison is left behind. What was special about our time at Howard are the obstacles we faced. We found unique ways to remain united, to study, and to stay on track. We are bison with thick skin. What's next for us is unknown, which can be scary, yet is exciting. We stand on the shoulders of Howard's giants, like Chadwick Boseman, Toni Morrison, and Vice President Kamala Harris, just to name a few. Like these incredible leaders, the Mecca is just our starting point. Though it's hard to leave, Howard has given us all we need. We are walking away with the tools and ability to forge a path for ourselves, and absolutely nothing is insurmountable. One day, we will look back at our time at Howard and remember it as an open door to the world. So when my friend asked me what Howard was like, I gave the cheesiest and most embarrassing response. However, it was the truth. It was once in a lifetime. Thank you. I'm putting my MC hat back on, okay. We're now going to circle back to Dr. Lamia, who will be giving out the 2021 Chairman's Award.
All right. So the Chairman Award will go to Kelsey. So let me now talk to you a little bit about Kelsey. Kelsey Johnson is a graduating senior majoring in strategic, legal, and management communication and minoring in political science. She's originally from Phoenix, Arizona. Since matriculating, Kelsey has been involved in the mock trial team, the Annenberg Honors Program, the Undergraduate Research Journal, and the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. Incorporated Alpha, including off-campus, Kelsey interned with numerous organizations, including the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Golden Sachs, and the Office of Senator Mark Kelly. In her free time, Kelsey enjoys baking, exploring DC, and creating products for her small business, Glamour Girls, with Z at the end. Kelsey's goal is to work in voting and election law. She hopes to eradicate barriers to communities, voting, and work to ensure all people, especially minority communities, have an equal voice in electorate. Kelsey will attend Harvard Law School in the fall. Even though I'm the chair of this esteemed department, I'm also a professor in the classroom. And Kelsey was my student. She was my student in the Annenberg Honors Program. Parents, listen. The Annenberg Honors Programs are for the 4.0s, the 3.8s. They are the top rated. And since I challenged them to write 70, 80 pages of thesis, like Michelle Obama, with chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. Kelsey Johnson, using a new software that I created called Deduce. And of course, SPSS, that you guys know, quantitative and qualitative research. Her topic was on colorblind, gerrymandering, partisan, and racial bias. Please give her a round of applause. As I was grading her outcome, how she conducted the research in the field, she compared two networks, Fox News and CNN. And in order for you to compare those media and get a score of A from me, I have to see your data. I have to see it. I have to see how you analyzed the data. I have to see your pie chart. I have to see your Excel spreadsheet. I want to see your P equals 0.5 or less. She demonstrated that in chapter 4. Please give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Dr. Lamia, for that wonderful recognition. I'm very honored. We will now move into the final portion of our event, picture time. We're asking that graduates come forward and take pictures on the stage. And once again, congratulations to all of our SLMC graduates for the class of 2022. We will continue into our reception. Good luck tomorrow, and yes.
I know we're all family here, so this is just an impromptu moment, but I just wanted to say thank you so much to Professor Cheryl Johnson, who really organized this entire event. Thank you to Angelina, who handled the awards, and I'm sure I'm missing, but it takes a village, and they contributed so much to this wonderful day.
Yes, thank you to all the hard work for our team and also our tech people. All right, please, graduates, come to the front. Good luck to all.
That was good. I like how you can take it up a little bit more if you want. Of you and your colleagues, classmates, you're going to be a long class of. Very good. There's a woman. I'm like,